OOPS concept. Okay, I think it is one of the most interesting concepts, and one of the sure shot concept which is asked in interviews and all. So a very important concept. I'm sure that if you attend whatever the OOPS classes will be there, you will be able to answer almost all interview questions related to OOPS at least very well. Okay, so whatever the library part we were discussing, right? Those video actually that day my laptop got automatically shut down. I don't know how. So that video got lost. So I am creating the video again one time. And that day I was talking about PIP, right? I did not tell you all PIP and types of libraries that will be available. That I will explain it in that video itself. Okay, so that whole libraries concept with examples will be there inside that video itself. Okay, so you can watch that video. I'll share you all the link when it will be uploaded. But today we will be going on with OOPS concept. Okay. So I think that day when I was telling you all about how you prepare, what to do, and all those kind of stuff, right? That day I think I had explained it well about this concept was involved there. OOPS concept was involved. I had given some resources also from where you can learn OOPS concept, right? So if you watch this video also, right? Your OOPS concept will be clear as per your interviews, whatever they might ask, right? Based upon that, all the questions will be answered. You will be able to answer. So I have few questions for you all, and I want you all to be interactive today. So tell me one thing, first of all. By now, whatever you have learnt in this class, in this 15, 16 days, whatever we have spoken, okay, so whatever you have learned till now, right? If I ask you to, can you store and show me some integer values? Will you be able to store? You're getting the point what I'm talking? Tell me one thing, okay? What are the different types of data that is available in the real world, you tell me? Which you can store it inside the computers. Come on, fast. Please, just answer fast, okay? Tell me fast. What are the different types of data you can find inside the real world or inside your day-to-day lives, which you may want to store inside computers? Because we are doing the same thing, right? This is not the first time we are discussing this. We have discussed about this and all the different types of data. Why do you want to store data inside computers? Why do you want to teach computers and all this kind of stuff? We have already discussed. So come on, tell me.
Strings, alphabets.
Strings, okay. We can store strings inside computers or alphabets. Let's call it as alphabets.
Characters.
Yes, characters, alphabets. All this data is in real world, okay, which we can store in computers. Yes, float you can store. Integers, yes, you can store. Then
Double.
double also you can store. Again.
Decimal. Float.
Decimal, float. Okay, that's one.
Yeah.
Double also will. Sorry. Again which?
I did not see float.
Okay. Float is also there. Next. Last few. Char, yes, okay, I'll consider here itself. Char. Again. Only this much. You have what I am talking is about data structures.
List, tuple.
Yes.
Array.
Arrays or list.
Cool.
List are there. Sixth tuple is there. We have studied about dictionary also. Dict, again, sets. We have studied all these things, right? So if I tell you, if I tell you that, do one thing. Whoever is there, if I ask Aditi, okay, Aditi, can you store some roll numbers inside this one in your program and tell and show me some roll number, okay, some roll number, only one roll number. Sheikh Nasir,
Integer,
what happened?
using integer. Row. Using numbers, right?
Images, okay, yes, images also. We'll come back to images, okay. What you told is right, numbers also, yes. So I'll ask you a few questions, okay. Aditi, question number 1 for you. If I ask you to store your roll number itself in your program, can you store your roll number?
Using integer.
Yes, using integer. So what will be the syntax for it? How will you store?
Int any variable.
Uh-huh. You will write int in Python. You're sure?
Then sorry.
Huh?
1 second.
Huh.
In Python or Java?
In Python. I want you to store your roll number itself in Python. Very simple. How will you store? My questions. Your roll number in your in a program. Can anyone tell me? Bol. What is the syntax? Hello. What is the syntax?
Printf.
No, I don't want to print. You just store and show me. Snail, you were saying something?
Roll number is mixture of character and integers, right?
Roll number is a number, not a character.
No, like how is 2GI 2646? It is a mixture of character and integers.
That is US and no, but
Okay. Roll number A is equals to 406. It's kind of example.
roll number is equal to me. What is the roll number, Aditi?
400.
400. Oh, I thought it will be 1, 2. 400, okay. So if you want to store something like this, if you want to store your name itself in a program, how will you store? Your name, Snail.
Name which is equals to your name.
My name is equals to
Name.
Snail. So don't consider my name is Snail. Okay. So similarly, you have different data types, right? So you have studied all those data types, and you know which whenever any question is given to you, how to categorize it into which bucket. We have already discussed this in when we were comparing about lists, tuple, dictionaries, and all those kind of stuff, right? So I was giving you problem statements, right? I want to store this. Then you were telling me which data structures you could use to store this kind of data, right? So now if I give you one more question, store and show me, store maybe marks of 5 students, how will you store? Marks of 5 students, how will you store? list, very simple. Okay, so marks is basically equals to maybe a list on 5 students marks, maybe 99, 90, okay, sorry, 100, 167, something like this. 5 student marks we are storing, very simple. Now what if I want to give more information about this? Like what if I want to specifically tell which is the marks of first student, which is the marks of second student, and all those kind of stuff. If I want to store like that, then which data structure should I use? Dictionary. Very simple.
Dictionary.
Yes, all are right. Okay, so that means you are understanding whatever is been taught before. Perfect. So now I'll give you one more question. Okay. My question is, do you have only this much data in your real world? Where is my screen? This guy. Only this much data you have in your real world? Strings, float, integer, double, list, tuple, dictionary, sets. Only this much kind of data are there, or something else is there? I am talking about in real world. In your real world, that means where you are living on this planet Earth. Only this much types of data is there, or something else is there. If something else is there, what is that something else? Tell me.
There are objects.
Binary data.
There are
Objects.
objects. What do you mean by this? Like what you mean? What you are trying to say by this? Can you just tell me? There are objects. What you told is
Like,
right. So can you give me some
Pen,
examples?
pencil, pad,
What? Sorry?
things.
Things.
Pen
Okay.
is object. Yeah.
Yeah. So objects or things, I will say here. Okay. So pen is an object. You told. Yes, pen is an object. Bottle is an object. Yes, bottle is an object. We human beings itself is an object. Human beings itself is an object. Your charger is an object. Maybe your house is an object. Your earphones is an object. So, do you agree that all this kind of data is also there in a real world?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
very simple. So you notice. Now I will give you one more question. Okay. Store maybe store a car in your program. Now tell me, how will you store? What will you use? Dictionary, list, tuple, set, integer. Which one? Come on, fast.
Which
Which one? Which one will you use? List, huh? Image. No. I am not talking about car image. No. Image is a different thing. Okay. Image is a two-dimensional representation. Okay, of something. Image is different, but real car is different. There is a difference between these two. Okay. So I am not talking about image of charger, photo of bottle and all those kind of stuff. I am talking how can you store real pen. I am talking how can you store real bottle inside your computer. I am talking how can you store a real car inside your computer. How can you store, now you might be thinking this is something like a bit crazy. How can you store real bottle inside a computer? Yes, we can. It is possible to store real bottle inside a computer. Now I don't mean to say when I want to store real bottle inside a computer, I will take your bottle and I will put it somehow inside this computer's hard disk. Okay, that is not how it is going to happen. But what I am stating is completely right, that how this is completely a question for you. Okay, is there a way or is there any data structures which you have studied where you can store a speaker inside your computer, a book inside your computer, a cap inside your computer, a house inside your computer, a mobile phone inside your computer, any object? Because why are we coming to this question at least? Because we are not surrounded only by data which is integers, we are not surrounded only data which is characters, strings, sets, lists, dictionaries. All this kind of data is not we are only surrounded with. Yes, I will agree that we are surrounded with this data, but it is not only data which we are surrounded with. We are surrounded by something more than that. And how many times we, I think, use integers, right? More than that, I feel that you all will see objects around you all. Wherever you go, it is an object. You go to you walk on the road, road is an object. We human being itself is an object. You are wearing a clothes, those are objects. All are things, right? Different things, that anything that is available on this earth, right? That is a thing, or that is an object, in a material object, whatever you want to call it. But a bottle is an object, a chair is an object, a floor is an object, a basket is an object, pot is an object, router is an object, computer is an object. So everything whatever you are seeing is basically objects for us. Now don't try to mix it with what concepts you have learned somewhere, maybe about in programming. This is object is instance of class, object is a real world entity, all this kind of stuff I am not talking. I am not talking about that object. Okay? I am talking about real world object. Real world object means what? Object which you can see. In simple words, object which is very visible to your eyes, your real world things. If you want to call this object as a thing also, that is also fine. That is also same. Your mobile phone, what is a mobile phone? Mobile phone is actually an object, okay, or a thing. So I hope you got. I am not mixing it with computer science. Now, my question is there any way I can store a car or your mobile phone inside this computer?
Yes. Object-oriented software.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you have studied object-oriented software before itself. So someone told that you can use it, you can keep it with the help of object-oriented software. Okay. For those who don't know, I don't know what is object-oriented software. So there is no question itself I can store it or not. For those, I am assuming that you all don't know what is object-oriented software. Okay. Can you tell me, have you studied any data structure which is going to help you store real world entities or real world objects inside your program? Prashant says no. I at least have not studied till now. Those who have studied, those might be genius people. I don't know from where you studied and what you studied, but I at least have not studied, because we cannot use a dictionary to store real world entity. We cannot use a set to store a bottle. We cannot use maybe, let's say if we want to store Anita inside our program, we cannot use a list to store Anita inside program. We want to keep Snehal inside our program. I am not talking about Snehal name. Snehal's name is only a word, and we can use string data structure to store her name. But I want to keep this Snehal itself inside the program. When I am talking about Snehal, I am not talking about her name. Snehal has lots of things. Okay, Snehal can speak. Snehal has some height. Snehal has some color. Snehal can eat food. Snehal can speak. Lots of things are there which are associated with Snehal. Snehal is not a name which I can store. If that would be the case, I could have used strings, right? But what if I want to keep this object Snehal? Object Snehal means what? The real Snehal who is there, right? Who can walk in front of me, who can walk forward, who can walk backward, who can sit, who can talk, who can speak, who can eat, who can laugh. This Snehal I want to store, and which can do all these things inside our program. That time you don't have any data structure that is left which can help you to solve this particular problem. And that is where the concept of OOPS will come into picture. Okay, I hope you got the point of understanding first of all why OOPS. What is OOPS is the next question, but I hope you understood first of all why OOPS. Why do we need this? OOPS actually stands for Object Oriented Programming. Okay, so this is actually a concept that is relevant to any programming language. It can be used with any programming language. It is actually just a concept. Okay, how we have integers, and integers can be used in any programming language. Similarly, we have OOPS, which can be used with any programming language. Okay, so you can use it with Python, you can use it with Java or any other programming language. In C, this concept is not there. Instead of this, we have a concept of structure in C. Structures are there in C, but in higher level programming languages, OOPs are there. So Python is actually called as an object oriented programming language because it supports this concept of OOPs. Okay, but C doesn't have this concept of OOP. C has this concept of structures, and you must have already used structures in your first year, right? So that is almost same like object oriented programming. It is little bit familiar, but object oriented programming is a higher version of structures. It's actually a higher version, extended version of the structures concept which you have learned. Okay, but I hope you got the point. First of all, why OOPs? What is the need of OOPs? Sure, if anyone asks you what is OOPs or why do we need OOPs, you ask me how. Store and show me a student inside the program. Store and show me a teacher inside the program. Store and show me a human being inside the program. Store and show me a charger inside the program. All your programming concepts will fail because you don't have any data structure which can store you. Store these all real world objects inside your program. Object oriented programming gives you a way to store all the real world entities inside your program. Did you get this point? Very important point I told you right now. Object OOPs gives you the power to store any real world object, any real world. See, don't understand when I am saying what is real world object, okay? Any real world object like bottle, car, whatever, okay? Any real world object into your program. This is the power of object oriented programming and why it is actually used. Okay, why OOPs? Question number 1. What is OOPs? OOPs is actually a concept, a programming concept which is used, which will give you the power to store all these real world entities inside the program. Okay, OOPs also gives you the power to create your own data structures. To create your own amazing data structures. Okay, so right now you are already using data structures, right? You are using sets, you are using dictionaries and all this kind of stuff. But who created all these data structures? These are all data structures actually created by someone else, and you are just using them, right? You have not created it on your own. But you can create now onwards data structures on your own with the help of concepts of OOPs. You can create, you can store property, you can store this ones. All these real world entities inside your program. It is possible with the help of concept of OOPs, and there is a chance of you storing your own data, creating your own data structures and storing something also inside that. Okay, so maybe you can imagine like you have created a data structure similar to int, which is bottle. Okay, so you created a data structure which is called as bottle. Very simple. This is a data structure, and you are allowing to and you are saying that in this data structure you can store bottles. Did you get the point? What I am trying to say? You are relating it with me. What I am trying to tell you all, why these concepts and all. Shanti.
Yes.
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 Fine. So I am telling you, you can create your own data structures, man, now onwards. That's an amazing thing because will give you power to do whatever you want. You can maybe create a data structure called pant. You can store pants inside that. You can create data structure which is called house, and you can store houses inside that. Wow, looks good. Gautam, then does it mean that we can store real house inside it? Yes, you can store real house inside it, but when I say real house, I don't mean to say you will take your house and put it inside this computer. Okay, so don't go logically here that you will be able to take your house, pick your house and put it inside this computer. Not like that, but you will be able to store all the things related to your house inside this program. Okay, so how this works, okay? I hope you understood first of all why object-oriented programming concept, why do we need this concept. Second thing, I hope you understood about what is object-oriented programming. It is actually a concept which helps us to store all the real-world entities inside our program, which involves the use of objects and classes, okay? Classes and objects. So the most fundamental point of object-oriented programming, okay, the most fundamental thing from where object-oriented programming will start Okay, OOPS basics, on which OOPS, the concept of OOPS will stand upon, is basically understanding about what classes are and what objects are. So these two words, I don't know what is the meaning of these words right now, but what I am telling you is these two basic terminologies you will have to understand in OOPS concept. Okay, so definitions of these two words you have to understand properly in OOPS concept, because these will actually form the basic of OOPS. Basic of OOPS you will basically understand from here. Okay, and there are actually 4 pillars of OOPS. 4 pillars on which OOPS will stand. Let's draw. Test my drawing. Looks good. Nice. So your OOPS, whatever concepts are there, right? OOPS is basically sitting here on the top. And there are 4 pillars to this OOPS, on which this OOPS is standing. You know what these 4 pillars are? The first one is actually inheritance. Second one is encapsulation. 4 pillars of OOPS. Okay. So what these 4 pillars of OOPS are, I will explain you all, but just remember some theory here. Okay. That OOPS, actually the basic of OOPS, from where actually OOPS concepts will start, or you can just understand that if you want to go and learn car, right? So first of all they will teach you some basic terminologies. Isko gear कहते हैं, like this is called as gear. This is called as clutch, man. This is called as an accelerator. What is the use of accelerator? They will teach you these basic words, right? That which are used inside the car. So similarly, I am teaching you some of the words that are basically used inside OOPS concept. One of the words that is used, which is very basic, is classes, and another one is object. And based upon these 2 words, the whole OOPS concept will stand. All the OOPS concepts can be implemented, and inside the whole OOPS concept you will be seeing me using these words every time. Classes and objects, classes, objects, classes, objects. What these classes and objects are, we will see. But there is something more to that. So when you move from classes and objects, right? So when you try to understand a little bit more about OOPS, after understanding classes and objects, then you will have to understand what is the more advantage of OOPS, like what are the features of OOPS and all. So there are 4 very important features of OOPS. We call them as 4 very big properties or characteristics or features, you call it. Why should we exactly use OOPS again? Okay, because it provides you tremendous amount of features or tremendous amounts of power, and the power is actually in these 4 pillars. You can call it as features of OOPS, or you can call it as 4 pillars of OOPS. Okay, so 4 pillars of OOPS are: one is inheritance. What is inheritance? We will discuss afterwards. One is encapsulation. What is this? We will discuss again afterwards. Then one is abstraction. Encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance. Can someone tell me another one?
Polymorphism.
Nice. Polymorphism. So you all know. Now what exactly these words jargons are? Sounds like very difficult words, right? So I will explain.
इसमें अलग है software engineering.
Sorry.
Is it software engineering concepts?
You will get in software engineering also, you will get these concepts, because when you want to design robust softwares, right, powerful softwares which are solid, that time you will have to use these concepts. So you will be learning it in software engineering also, but you will be also learning it in data structures and all. You will be also learning it in you will be using it lot many places, like if you are going for some Android development, you will be using it. Sorry, someone is saying something?
Java.
Java you will be using it in, I told you, right, this is a concept, just a concept. It can be used in any programming languages. That is not a restriction there, but this is a concept which is going to help you to build better softwares. Why it is going to help you to build better and more powerful softwares? Because if you don't use this, then you will get very just imagine this. that what if I tell you that this is going to give you the power to create your own data structure. This is going to give you the power to store all your real world entities, man. This itself is the biggest power. And that is going to help you build better software. Now see here, let's say you want to build one software. Let's say you want to build attendance management system. Assume, let's say you want to build this typo. We want to build this, okay? So can you tell me one thing, okay? If you want to basically build this attendance management system, what do you feel? Who will be the users of this application?
Professors.
Students and professors.
Students also can use it to see their attendance, and maybe principal also. Something like this. Yes, very simple. Let's say if you want to build maybe Instagram. You want to build an Instagram. Who are the users? Can you tell me of this? One.
Person.
Any people or any human being? Any human being? Now, my question is, if these people are going to be the users of this particular application, that means, you know where all the data is stored actually? Where exactly this data is stored? Whatever data you are uploading in Instagram, if you build any software also, where you will store all the data? What is the hub where you will store the data? Server, yes. You will store it on the server, but on the server also something will be there on which you will store specifically. Database. DB. Okay. So this database will be actually kept on the server. So people will sometimes you will see that people are saying that data is actually stored on the server. Yes, data is stored on the server, but it's a general way of saying it. If you zoom in and see, you will understand that on the server there is something called as database. What is this database? That is something else to discuss. But on the server there is something called as database, and inside this database all this data is getting stored. Okay, what is this database? Database is like a bookshelf where you can store all your books. How you have bookshelves, right? Where you will store all your books. That way, database you can consider is like Excel sheet. For now, it's not exactly an Excel sheet, but you can consider like it's an Excel sheet where all the data is getting stored. Okay, in simplest terms. Now my question is, you want to store this data of a particular professor inside the software. Because why you want to store the data of a particular professor? Because professor is going to use the software, and if you don't store a professor inside the software, how will he use it? How will you give the features of login, registration and all the things? Because if a professor wants to register inside your application, right, he will fill all this data like username, password, all this kind of lots of data, whatever is there, he'll fill it. How to store a professor? How to store a professor inside your application? How to store a student inside your application? How to store principal inside your application? Till now you have not learned only. If we had to store only principal's first name and last name, we could use strings. But we don't want to store only principal's first name, last name. We want to store whole principal itself. Principal has lots of other characteristics than first name and last name, man. Professor has lots of other characteristics than first name and last name. How to store this whole professor inside this software? Concept of OOPS. Is it clear?
Yes.
OOPS concept is going to help you to store. How it is going to help you to store, that's a further discussion which is going to come. But what's important is OOPS concept is going to help you store all the real world data, real world objects inside the computers. Very, very, very important point. I hope that has made you clear about OOPS. And there are basic concepts of which OOPS we have to understand, that is classes and objects. And there are 4 pillars of OOPS. One of the very important question in interviews which is asked n number of times. Four pillars of OOPS are polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction and inheritance. What are these? We'll be discussing each in depth. You will never forget it. Okay, so I'll make sure that you will never forget those 4 concepts. of OOPs, how they work and how it is programmatically related and all those kind of stuff. We will not do Ratta-Marufai definitions like inheritance matlab extracting some features from one class to another class, encapsulation matlab wrapping of data into a single unit, abstraction matlab hiding of data. Such definitions we will not study. We will see how exactly it can be used, how exactly programmatically it can be implemented, what does it exactly mean and all those kind of stuff. Okay, so let's deep dive into exactly what this OOPs is. Okay, so the most basic fundamental concepts of OOPs. Can someone tell me what are the most basic fundamental concepts of OOP which I discussed in the last screen?
Classes and objects.
Yes. Most basic fundamental concepts of OOP. So you might be asking, what is it teaching, man? Like, see here, what I am teaching you is, if you want to drive a car, I told you, right? So you should understand first of all terminologies that are used inside a car. You don't know what is the meaning of clutch itself. You don't know what is the use of clutch itself. How will you go and drive? So I am teaching you this. Just consider that OOPs concept is a car, and you are learning to drive this car. So first of all, you understand. Here, अरे इसको windshield बोलते हैं, इसको wiper बोलते हैं. This is called as bonnet. This is called as accelerator. This is called as gear. You understand these words first. What is the meaning of these words? Then we will see actually how to drive it. Okay. So the driving is going to happen by using those 4 basic pillars. We will see that afterwards. But first to understand the terminologies. What is a class? Okay. In simplest term, if you want to understand, okay, class is like a blueprint. Okay, and what is an object? Object is nothing but, as we discussed, it's anything which is in real world. Any material thing which is available in real world. Which is available in real world. So only they use this definition which is called as object is a real world entity. Entity means what? Object, some material world, material thing. Okay, so only they use this. I hope you now understand when they say object, when they say object, this word, right, and when you say from your mouth object is a real world entity, I hope you know now actually what do you mean by that. Actually, you mean to say that it's a real world entity in the sense it is actually a real world material thing which is available in a real world. It can be a chalk, it can be a earphones, it can be a pen, it can be laptop, it can be chargers, it can be keyboard, it can be all these real world material objects that are available. This is actually called as an object. Then what is class, Gautam? Class is actually a blueprint of that particular object. Blueprint of a object. What do you mean by blueprint of an object? Let's say we want to do one thing. Okay. Let's do one thing. Let's start a company. We both will start. Okay. We'll earn huge profit. Manufacturing company we are going to start. Okay. We want to manufacture a car. So can someone tell me what will exactly go on when let's say we started an automobile EV company. We want to manufacture an electric vehicle, EV car. What happens? What you will do first of all if you want to create a car, or let's say if you want to build a project itself. Let's not think of a
Design.
company also. Design, yes, okay, I would agree with him. Let's say Anita and all had worked on one EV, right? You wanted to create an EV. Okay, I want to build an EV car project. So when I say EV car project, I don't want to do a thermocol model and keep. Okay, I am not saying that thermocol model. I am saying that real car, real electric car, it's where you can sit and you can drive and it will go ahead. It will go forward, backward, everything it will do. That kind of car I want to build as a project, as my final year project. What to do? First point. What you all did, Anita?
What is EV?
EV is electric vehicle. I wrote shortcut, sorry.
Like first, they have given us the conditions.
Sorry, what?
They should have the conditions.
Prashant also was a part of a team. Oh, whole team is there here. Again someone was there? Many people were there, I feel, right? Two guys are there. So if you want any help, these guys are there available, okay? Anita is there and Prashant is there. Electronic and communication engineer and one mechanical engineer is available here if you want to build anything. So Prashant, what you did?
Like they have given us the conditions. Based on the conditions, we have to design the vehicle.
Yes, first I think they directly did not start taking hammer, shoulder, क्या बोलते हैं, welding machines. They did not start bringing tires and all. Directly, no one will do this one. Okay, so first what they will do is design. Once a design,
Requirement collection.
requirement collection. Okay, so what she told is completely right. First you will do the requirement collection based upon you understood requirement collection मतलब क्या कि what you want to build, what is the requirement, how much weight it should carry, how much fast it should move, these all parameters if you take, right, then based upon that they are these people guys, right, these engineers will sit and design the car. Design मतलब क्या, एक blueprint बनाते हैं. They'll create a rough blueprint, maybe a sketch how my car is going to look like. They'll use softwares like AutoCAD and all those for those kind of stuff and all. But they are going to create a blueprint, how it is going to look, what all features are going to be there inside this inside this car, what will be the top speed of this car, what will be the weight which it can carry. All these things will be mentioned basically inside this. Okay. When I say design,
And
I
also
don't
the
mean
material used.
Material used, very true, material used. When I say design, don't think that only a pen and paper drawing will be drawn. No, I am not talking about only that much, okay. Yes, it will include drawing, but design will also include lots of other things like what all the parameters will be there, okay. As I told, material which will be used, then speed will be there, how much speed, top speed it can go, how much weight it can carry, all these things, all the design parameters basically will be first of all, it will be created, okay, first. Second, once the design is ready, right, it's very simple, you start manufacturing it. Now, Prashant, can you tell me, if you want to manufacture 5 EVs, how many times you have to create the design?
Only once.
Only once. Design or blueprint is created only once. But once your blueprint is ready, right, now छापने का काम होता है खाली. छापने का काम मतलब it will be actually the whole blueprint will be given
Copy
to
pasting.
हाँ, copy pasting work will happen. Okay, so just think like हमको एक कार बनाने का था, right? So we created a car model. We created this is how it is going to look, and just imagine that we are not going to create it. We are going to just work on the design part. This part, whatever we have created, right? We have designed it, right? We are going to give it to a manufacturer, and the manufacturer is going to produce that car. So there's a factory. This is a factory. You pass the blueprint and the car will come from here. Okay, you give it a blueprint to this machine and the car will come out of it. Okay, who will manufacture this car? This factory will manufacture the car. It will undergo lots of processes, but whole thing it will do. Okay, but what's important is first is design phase and then the manufacturing phase. Design phase or the blueprint is actually called as class, and this manufacturing phase, what will be manufactured and coming out. Okay, I am not talking about manufacturing phase, I am talking about the manufactured car which will come out after manufacturing. Okay, so I can say that manufactured car, manufactured, that means it is already manufactured. Manufactured car or EV that will come out is actually called as an object. In simplest terms, if you want to remember, what is class? It's a blueprint if you want to create any object. You want to store any object inside your program. First of all, you will have to create a blueprint of that particular object. Next, what will happen after creating blueprint? अभी तो easy है, blueprint हो गया, अभी छापने का काम है. छापने का काम मतलब क्या? एक factory के अंदर देने का blueprint and it will produce and give you that object. It's just like if you want to manufacture glass bottles or soda bottles, show the recipe and give it to the person who can create it, who has this all set up, like who has a big factory, who has all the machines, equipments to manufacture it, and give this all recipe to that person and he will just start creating it. The difficulty is not here. Difficulty is not here, you know why? Because ये तो छापने का काम करता है खाली. मतलब एक डिजाइन क्रिएट हो गया ना, तो one design can help you get n number of objects. One design, one class, but you can get n number of objects out of it. Because if I want to create a car, I'll create a car, I'll design a car, I'll give it to a manufacturer. He will manufacture 100 cars like that. You think that Honda City is only one available in the whole world, but Honda City design was created only once? No. or let's take Scorpio, or let's take Brezza, whichever car you have or whichever bike you are driving, right? That only one time design they have created, and the manufacturer has started chhapne ka kaam. He has started manufacturing it in n number of times, and he has sold it to n number of people also. So this is actually called as object, this is actually called as class. So why we are actually doing all this kind of stuff? Because we want to store something. Okay, let's say we actually want to store a particular pen, okay, a pen inside a program. So हमको क्या करना पड़ेगा पहले? हमको अगर पेन स्टोर करना है तो we'll have to do one simple work. First of all, we'll have to design a pen or create a blueprint of a pen. Design a pen or create a blueprint of a pen first of all. Once you create the blueprint of the pen, right, now chapo pen. 100 pens you want, or take 100 pens, create 100 pens. 200 pens you want, yes, take 200 pens. How much you want, that much you take. How do we actually create that blueprint? Okay, let's say if we want to create a pen, we want to manufacture a pen, we want to store a pen inside a program, whatever name you want to give that one. Okay, the way we use it to create a blueprint, we actually use classes. Okay, so how do you create class? You first of all write class, then you write class name. Okay, so I will write here class name as pen because I want to manufacture pen, and then you will put these two brackets like this. First of all, you will write class, then you will write class name. Very simple. This is how you write it. Okay. Now inside this, now let's come. What will be there inside this class? What's there inside a class? Now can someone tell me technically, like not programmatically, but in general, you tell me. You know, class is a blueprint, right? So inside this blueprint, what will be there? Sorry? Features. What he told is 100% right. Features. Features will be there inside this. Then all the set of characteristics, or okay, let's call it as features itself. Features will be there, and again one thing will be there, or I can say that what word to use I'm not getting, but you call them something. Okay, but fine. So what he told is correct. Features will be there inside this blueprint. So here also, what will be there inside a class? Programmatically, if you want to understand, two things will be there inside the class. Okay, one thing is actually called as variables. A class will contain two things. One is variables. Second one is functions. Class will contain, what is a class? If you want to understand again technically now, class is actually a blueprint. Okay, that's just to make you understand. But if you want to understand now technically what is the definition for that, it is actually a collection of, or a set of, or a combination of variables and functions. Gautam, variables and functions. Have you studied variables? Tell me first of all. Have you studied variables? Do you know to declare variables and create variables, store some values inside the variables?
Yes.
Have you studied functions?
Yes.
Do you know to define functions? Do you know to create your own functions? Do you know to call these functions? Do you know to write the definition of these functions and all this kind of stuff? You all know or no? Don't know? Yes?
Yes.
You are not studying something new. You are not studying something new. You are doing same thing. What you have learned, no, same things are going to do here. No new syntax is going to come here. But very important to understand is class is the blueprint. This is okay. I understood class is blueprint. But now you are trying to tell me class consists of variables and functions. Yes, it consists of variables and functions, and these variables and functions will contain all the things that are required to be basically displayed in that particular blueprint. Okay, so these variable and functions will act like a blueprint. What do I mean by this? See, when I say a blueprint, right, what do you expect in a blueprint? What will be there? The design of that car will be there. Then maybe some features of that car will be written, like this metal we are going to use. This is the top speed of that car. This the car can basically maybe will have 4 doors. Maybe the car can have
Specifications?
4. Yeah, specifications. That sounds good. Specifications of that car will be written inside that particular designing phase, right, in that blueprint phase, right? So how will you write those specifications and features inside program is what I am telling. You will write it with the help of these two things. One is variables and functions. How to represent those features? See, in paper it is very simple. You take a pen and paper, you draw the car, and down you can write the top speed of that car. Metal which I am going to use is this one. Then I am going to use this thing. Car is going to have 4, maybe 2 doors, so that you are going to write doors 2 and all. This is very simple to write, right, with the help of pen and paper. How to write it in programmatically I am talking. The way you are going to write it, this thing itself, programmatically, how you are going to represent your blueprint, because you cannot draw, right? In program you don't have a drawing, this what paint option is not there, where you will draw something and you will show that, yeah, this is my blueprint. You will have to somehow write it programmatically, right? How you are going to express that blueprint programmatically? With the help of variables and functions. So a class is going to contain a set of variables and a set of functions which are actually going to act like a blueprint, okay, for whatever object you are going to create. Those object ka blueprint is going to be actually displayed with the help of these variables and functions that are going to be available inside a class. Point to be noted is that class contains a set of variables and functions. That's it. Class will not contain anything else. Class will always contain variables, functions, variables, functions, variables, functions. That's it. Nothing else. These variables are actually, you don't call it as variables in OOPS concept. These are actually called as something else. These functions also are not called as functions in OOPS concept. They are called as methods. They can be called as methods. They are also called as behaviors. Behaviors or features, whatever you want to call. But you will not hear me calling a function inside a class. I will use the word method. So what is the difference between function and method? Both are same. Only thing is, whenever you write a function inside a class, it is called as method. That's it. It is a function itself. You can call it as function itself, but they have given a name. If you are using classes and if you write a function inside a class, then you should call it as a method instead of calling it as a function. That's it. Very simple. Variables, they are called as variables or they are called as attributes. Attributes. Very simple. You call it whatever you want, doesn't matter. But what to understand is a class contains variables and functions. Or you can say that a class contains attributes and methods. Or you can say that a class contains attributes and behaviors, one and the same. Other name for behavior, methods is nothing but function. Is this completely clear or no? Is this clear or no?
Yes.
Fine. If this is clear, now you might say, why do we actually have variables and can someone tell me why do you have variables and methods inside a class? What's the need for it? Yes, come on. Fast. Why do you have variables and functions inside a class? Come on, fast. You all know or you all don't know?
To identify.
Yes, to identify, or you can say that what is the purpose of class, right? What is the purpose of class? What does class will do? What is the purpose of class? Why class? Or what is a class?
It is like a blueprint.
It is like a blueprint. So what I'm saying you is, if it is a blueprint, right, it is not like in a normal real world where I'll draw with a pen and paper and create a sketch of a car. for a blueprint, right? I cannot do like that. I cannot use any softwares like AutoCAD and all where I will basically draw the sketch. I cannot do that, right? So how do you actually create a blueprint? That is what my question is. How to create a blueprint using program? Programmatically, how to create a blueprint? That time you will be using variables and functions to create this blueprint in using program. Got this point?
Yes.
Fine. So how to create now we'll see. Okay. So let's create a class first of all. We want to manufacture a pen. So we have decided that we'll create a class pen. That means first of all we'll create a blueprint. Now we'll write all the features. We'll write all features and specifications that are available for pen. Okay. So let's write some specification. Maybe we can write some random specifications I am writing. You can write whatever you want. Maybe I want to write some specification like color. Let's say I want black. This black color is black. Maybe tell me first what all you can write, specifications and features. You know what specifications and features, if you want to understand this one, you can understand that something like this. Variables are basically static, something which static, all the static properties of that particular object, all the static properties. Matlab what if you want to create a pen, right? A pen will have color, a pen will have ink. These are all static properties, right? They are not going to change. But there will be something called as behaviors also. Behaviors means what? All dynamic properties of that particular object. Dynamic properties means what? A pen can write. So that is a dynamic property. Action will be there. Dynamic or some action will be there. Okay. Let's talk about some properties of class. These are also called as properties. Okay. You call it as attributes. Where is my person? Okay, these are also called as properties. So whenever you don't get confused with the words, it is called as properties, it is called as attributes, it is called as variable, all mean one and the same. It is called as functions, it is called as methods, it is called as behaviors, all means one and the same. So for car, you can write some properties. A class will have only two things, one is attributes and one is behaviors. Behaviors means what? All the dynamic properties of that particular object. And attributes means what? All the static properties of that particular object. Static means a car ko example lete, like let's say you want to manufacture a car or you want to store a car inside your program. So all these static properties that are available for a car may be like top speed, 300 kilometers, let's say, example, top speed. That is a static property. Maybe wheels, number of wheels, 4, static property. Color, static property. Then maybe gears, number of gears, 5, static property. Now what are the dynamic properties of that particular car? Tell me. What are the dynamic properties of the car? Something which is moving, right? Car can move forward. So forward is basically a dynamic property. Car can move backward, that is a dynamic property. Maybe this car is very special, so it can basically play music, that is something dynamic property. So anything which is going to have some dynamic properties or actions, right, those are actually represented in this program with the help of functions. And anything which is static, right, which is not going to change, those are represented with the help of variables. Remember this point, your oops will be cleared for lifelong. Color. Maybe type is ballpoint. Okay, we can give type. Don't give type here because it is a keyword, so it has turned blue. Type of pen I'll write. Type of pen. Okay, that looks good. Maybe again another some properties you can write like ink. Oh, cost, we can write cost. Nice. This gave me a nice suggestion. Cost maybe 10 rupees.
एक्सक्यूज मी दादा.
हाँ बोल.
हा अजून किती वेळ शिकवणार आहे दादा?
Another 10 minutes.
10 minutes काय?
हा.
बरं मला एक अर्जंट काम होतं म्हणून म्हटलं.
हाँ चालेल तू जा नंतर तू रेकॉर्ड.
हा बरं चालेल. ओके थँक्यू दादा.
Yeah. Ink maybe black, something like this. These are all called as static properties of a class. Okay, so I will call these as static properties of a class. Static properties of the class. Tomorrow we'll see memory management of class, how actually class is getting stored and all those kind of stuff. Okay, these are static properties, are also called as attributes or also called as variables, whatever you want to call it. Attributes you call, variables you call, these all are variables itself, right? So very simple. These are static properties or variables. These are called as. Two things class will contain. One is static properties and another one is functions, that is behaviors. So static methods, or let's say behaviors or methods, it will contain. Behaviors of class, it is also called as methods, it is also called as functions, whatever you want to call. So what can be one of the function which we can create for a pen? It can write, so I can say write def write, whatever you want. This is like random, okay. You should always write the self keyword in place of functions as first parameter by default. What is that? We'll see tomorrow, okay. But you should always write, whenever you are creating a function inside a class, first parameter should always be self. Only when you are creating functions inside class. If you are not creating it inside class, don't write self. Okay. So self, first parameter, then I will put this function syntax, very simple. Maybe I will print something, this I am writing something like this, okay. Randomly I am doing something, okay. But what's important is that I am creating few things. One is static, some properties, and I am creating something which is called as function. That's it, you should understand. A class will contain this to itself, and these two actually represent all the characteristics of that particular object. These two represent all the behaviors of that particular object. Now like this, you can manufacture a car also. Maybe we will create a function which is forward and we will print I am moving forward. Now you might be asking, what is the point of printing I am moving forward, okay. This is just a demo. के लिए I am printing I am moving forward, okay. But you can do lots of stuff inside it afterwards. But the whole point is, it is going to contain only classes, it is going to contain attributes, methods, or variables, functions, very simple. This is actually a blueprint of a class. This is called as blueprint of a class. Now next step is what? Manufacture the object. How to manufacture the object? Come out of that class first of all. Manufacture an object. Object. How to manufacture an object? The syntax to manufacture an object is basically write object name. Whatever object name you want to give, object name, put equals to sign and then write class name, and then put this to brackets. Okay. So in our case, it will be maybe something like pen is the object name, small I am writing pen, and capital pen is basically the class name. Very simple. Capital P, this class name, and then object name as it is. Okay. So this pen, what is there, right? This pen is actually an object. I mean, it is a real pen. It is a real pen that is created according to the specifications that are basically mentioned inside this particular blueprint or this particular class. What this pen can do, you know? This pen can write. That is the only thing which it can do. Why? Because in the blueprint you have told that it can only write, nothing else it can do. So it will only write. What this pen has properties, you know? It has properties like its cost. It has some ballpoint, all this kind of stuff it has. Only what you will mention in the blueprint, only those features and specifications this object will be having. And please do remember that this one PEN is the actual object. PEN, what you have written, is the actual object. Please do remember that one. This one is the actual object. How can we prove it, Gautam? Let's print it and see what is there inside pen. Print and see pen, what is there inside pen. It is actually not going to print, which is static, maybe which you might digest, okay. So print, let's say, oops, oh, it is printing something else. It is saying something that under__ main, what is this under__ main, we'll see, dot pen, but some word is there, object, and some address is there. This is actually the place where this object is stored or where this pen is stored. So imagine what we did, man, right now. We created actually a pen. First of all, we designed the pen. How did we design the pen? And it was your choice. Whatever features you want to add inside this pen, you add. Maybe you don't want the cost feature inside this pen. Remove that. Maybe you don't want the pen to write. Remove that. Maybe you want the pen to walk, write a walk function then. So, but you designed it according to your terms, according to your knowledge, how you want. That way you created a blueprint. What does blueprint basically mean? It is going to contain a set of two things. One is variables, one is functions. As simple as that. And after creating the blueprint, you wrote one line of program and you manufactured a pen. And where is the actual pen stored? In this variable pen. pen is the variable in this write whatever you are going to write. This variable is going to store the actual object which you are going to create with the help of this particular blueprint. If you see here, it is telling where this object is stored. It is stored in this address of the memory. What is this? It is actually called as objects are actually stored in heap memory. We'll see what is heap memory, we'll see what is stack memory, how objects will be stored there and all those kind of stuff tomorrow. But this object has been stored at some address which is this one, and objects are stored inside heap memory, HEAP, heap memory. Very important point to understand. I hope this must have given you a little bit information about what classes and objects are, an introduction to them, how do you create your own class and all those kind of stuff. It must have given you little bit information. My assignment for you is basically store and show a human being inside your program, inside a program, and print that object. This is a small assignment which you will do. Whatever properties you want to define, right? Imagine that you are creating a human being now. You can define whatever properties you have. Maybe human beings have which color eyes, which color hair. You create your own human being. In the blueprint you mentioned everything, however you want the human being to be. And then you create the object. You know what is the syntax to create an object. Create that object and print that object. Tomorrow we will see lots of other things. Okay, this is not here end. From here the start will happen. You can do lots of stuff on this object. You can print only the color of that particular object. Okay, so you can print, you can call this function. Okay, so how to do all this kind? All the properties and all the functions that are available inside a class can be accessed only and only by creating an object. Point to be noted, underlined, star marked. All the functions and all the attributes or variables that are there inside a class can be accessed only and only when you create an object. If you want to call any function that is available inside a class, your first step is to create an object, because without creating an object you will not be able to access only any of the properties that are available inside a class. What I am trying to tell you is any property or any function that is available inside a class can be accessed by whom? Only and only by object. Only object has the right to call any function that is available inside the class, or only object has the right to print any property or variable that is available inside the class, that you have declared inside the class. If you want to print it, if you want to call any function, who can call it? Only and only an object. So if you want to call any attribute or any function that is available inside a class, please, first step is do create an object. Then how, after creating an object, what should I do? After creating an object, you should use a dot operator on the object and you will get all the properties that are available on the object. See here, I'll just put dot here. I'll get a list of all the properties that are available. I know this is not suggesting me right now, but I'll get a list of all the properties that are available inside this class. So you can do pen.color. This is how accessing, this is called as accessing all properties and functions that are available inside a class. How to access any properties that are available inside a class? First step is create an object. Without creating an object, you will not be able to access it. Why? Because I told you one fundamental thumb rule. If you want to call any function or if you want to print any variable that is available inside a class, your step number one, only object has the right to access it. If only object has the right to access it, you will have to first of all create the object. This is how you create the object. Now where is the object stored? Pen variable. Pen, now you can use the dot operator to access any function or any variable that is available inside this class. If I just run this program, I should get the color black. Because why? Because pen, it is going and checking to this class pen, and the color property it is accessing, and the color property is stored black. Now tell me, how do I call the function? I want to call this function, right? How do I call this function? How do I call the function? Come on, fast. You're there?
Right of
Sorry? Right of. Who has access to, who has right to call this function?
Object.
Object. If object is having, which operator you use to access the function?
Dot.
Dot operator. First write object name. Object name is pen. Then write dot. Then write the function name. See here, it is showing all the properties. Come on. See, it was showing. It went. So object dot write. This is how you call any function, right? Nothing new inside this. This is how you create a function. This is how you call a function. Something which I have already done a lot many times before. That is what we are doing here. Pen dot write. That's it. Very simple. This function will be called. See here, I am writing. What is the self? And how can you create now multiple pens? We'll see tomorrow. How can we create maybe pens of different costs? How can we create pens of different colors? A new object. So it's like this, right? Whenever a car is also created, if you see, a car design has been created, a blueprint is created once, but same color car is not manufactured. Different colors car are manufactured, different speeds cars are manufactured. Same car is there, okay? No, design is same, but some properties of that car are getting changed. That is how those cars are getting. Maybe they have manufactured 10 cars of red color, they have manufactured 100 cars of maybe blue color, something like this. How to do that inside program also we'll see tomorrow. And we'll see how exactly memory is working behind the scene in classes and objects. Okay, I hope you understood first of all the basic concept of classes. OOPS, that is why exactly we need classes, why exactly we need OOPS concept, and the most fundamental concept of OOPS, that is classes, what are classes, and you know right now it should be clear what exactly class is and what exactly object is. Okay, object is a real world entity itself. Yes, this is actually a pen, but only thing is it is not a real pen, but programmatically it is same pen itself. See here, why? Because it has all the properties that pen will have. All things what pen can do, all the things are there here. And if you want to create more, you can create here. You can write many functions here. You can write many more variables here. Everything you can do. It is actually a pen itself. Only thing is you cannot see it. It's not in real world, but it is a pen itself. This is how you create your pens. This is how you create objects. This is how you create blueprints using classes, and using this you can store any kind of object, a real world object inside your program. So we call this object as a real world entity, because you know why? This is actually almost same to real. There is no real pen here that is available, but it has all the properties and all the behaviors what a pen will have, everything it can do. Now don't tell me it is not writing. Yes, it is writing, but it is like programmatically writing, virtually it is writing. No, it is not there in real world, but in programming world it is writing. It wrote, no, I am writing. So programmatically, if you see, in virtual world, if you see, it is doing all the work. I hope you got the concept of classes and objects. I try to explain it in very simple words. Tomorrow we'll try to, if any doubts are there, I think tomorrow's class will make it super clear, completely clear of how they work and all those kind of stuff and all. We human beings also belong to a class which is actually called as human beings. I am a Gautam. Who is Gautam? Gautam is actually an object which is belonging to a human being class. Who created this human being class? Maybe God created this human being class, and after creating the human being class, he had created all the, he had wrote in a pen and paper, he took and he wrote all the properties and behaviors of that class. Maybe he wrote that human beings are going to have 2 legs, 2 hands, 1 nose, 2 eyes, 2 ears. All these things, all these things God wrote in a pen and paper. What he wrote? He wrote blueprint. Blueprint means what? Attributes and behaviors. He created all these things. He wrote some static properties that will be available in every human being. He wrote some functions that will be available in every human being. What are the functions that a human being can do? He can walk, he can talk, he can speak, he can eat, he can play, he can work, he can think. All these things God wrote. And after writing this, he created an object. Who is that object? Me, you who are there really, right? Real you, real snail, whoever is there, right? That she is an object. Real Gautam, this Gautam, not the word name Gautam, not the name Gautam, but the real Gautam who is right now sitting and explaining you all, right? He is an object. He is an object of which class? Human being class. Sejal is an object, Aishwarya is a real object, not the name, don't go on name. I am talking real Aishwarya who is sitting at home. Suchitra is an object, Prakash is an object, Anita is an object. You all belong to which class? We all are belonging to one class, which is human beings. And we all differ somehow little bit. Why we differ little bit? Because I told you, right? We create a blueprint once itself, but we modified some properties of that blueprint as we want, like maybe color, attitude. How we create only one blueprint for the car, right? Let's say we want to manufacture a Honda City car. So one type of car, let's say we want to manufacture Activa. One blueprint only of Activa is created, and the Activa, all Activas look same itself. Only thing is they are little bit modified. What is modified? Color might be modified. Some grills might be modified. So little changes have been done in every object. So what is an object? The real Activa, what is there, right? That is an object. Now what is the blueprint? The blueprint which was being created where all the specifications and the features were being written of Activa, right? That was an object. The blueprint also will be created in such a way that you can alter the properties of that blueprint. Like maybe if one blueprint is created, you can alter few properties, like maybe you can change the color of that object which is getting created. You can change the speed a little bit of that particular object which is created. So such things we can do. How to do that we'll see tomorrow. But a human being, and we all are basically objects, and human being is actually a class, and little bit modifications is there in all those objects, but they all are deriving lots of properties, basic properties, fundamental properties like thinking, eating, drawing, sitting, all these things all are same, right? So these all are derived from the class which is human beings. And some properties will change, like however you all want, you all can create and take it. Here also you can do the same thing. We can create a human being and we can create a human being class, and then we can create human beings, lots of human beings. We can create a girl, we can create a boy, we can create different colors of human beings, we can create different sizes of human beings, lots of stuff. Amazing stuff to play around with. You will have really good fun. I hope but that made it completely clear and you all understood little bit things about OOPS. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Any doubts you all have?
We can create n number of functions or no?
Yes, as much you want, that much. Feel free to do. So I think I have told you to create a human being class, right, today?
Yes.
So create as much you want inside that. What you want to, you create your own human being, I am talking. You have that power in classes and objects. The way you want, that way you can create. Make that human being, if you want speak more, make that human being maybe you want to think less or speak less. Make that human being to maybe walk in backward direction. Maybe make that human being maybe to have 5 hands. How you want, that way object you create. Completely your choice. You can design it on your own. The only use of this case is we want to store real world entities. Maybe you want to store a bottle inside your program. Maybe you want to store a charger inside your program. Why? Because we are building softwares which are used by real world entities. E-commerce application you go, you will be storing products there. Real world entity. Used by users, real world entity. That's why. Is that clear?
Yes.
I hope you understood what do you actually need, why do you need this concept and all those kind of stuff. What's the use case of this particular thing? I hope you will not forget now what's the use of OOPS. It starts with simple questions. Store and show me a student. Store and show me a human being inside a program. Why do you want to store a human being inside a program? Because real world applications will be used by human beings itself. Simple. What is a class? Blueprint. What is an object? It's a real world entity. But whenever you're saying this definition now, it's a real world entity, you know the meaning of that. You are not like Rattamarufied that definition. Real world entity. It is also called as an instance of a class. Why is it called as an instance of a class? We'll see tomorrow. But it is called as an instance of a class also. That definition is also right. But question is, how many people know this definition? What is the exactly meaning of instance of a class? What is the exactly meaning of a real world entity? Rattamarify ke liye theek hai. Like you can very simple to remember it, right? Instance of a class. Very simple to remember real world entity. I am not talking about that. Question is, you have understood or not? What do you mean exactly by when you say real world entity? That is important. So I hope you know now what is the meaning of real world entity when we are saying that real world entity. You know when you want to create a blueprint, right? You know that class is a blueprint. So you want to create a blueprint. So if you want to create a blueprint, what you will use to create a blueprint? Can someone tell me? With the help of what you will create this blueprint, class? Or what this blueprint will contain? Can anyone tell me? You all don't know? You all don't know means you all did not understand. A class or a blueprint.
Function.
Correct, sir. It will contain. What happens when you have network issue?
Function labels.
Yes, very true. Functions and attributes, or whatever you want to call variables, it will contain these two things. So blueprint, we cannot take a pen and paper and draw, right? Or a paint which you have in your windows, you cannot take it and draw, right? That blueprint. So we are actually doing the same thing. I mean, creating a blueprint itself, but with the help of different concept. What is the concept we are using to create the blueprint? We are using this one, variables and functions, or they are called as methods in this case. Very important, very simple to remember. A class is actually a collection of functions and variables, as simple as that. And these functions and variables, why they are important? Because they define that object. They explain everything about the blueprint of that particular object which we are going to manufacture. This will contain two things. Variables means what? Static. Static, whatever values are there, right? For example, human beings will have 2 eyes, 2 legs. Static. Behavior means what? Behavior means dynamic, which is movement, which is moving something. Like human beings can walk, human beings can speak. These are all moving, right? So this can be functions. Whatever is moving, whatever is dynamic is functions. Whatever is static, those can be variables. It can contain only 2 things. One is variables and one is functions. As simple as that. Now question is, after creating this blueprint, what you will do? You will create an object. You already know the syntax, how to create an object. As simple as that. After that, my question is, first of all, who has the right to access any of the property or any of the function that is defined inside the class? Who can access? You're getting my point?
Object.
Object.
Members of that class.
Object of that particular class, yes, to be more specific. So if you want to access any of the properties or any of the functions that are available inside a class, which operator you will use to access that? Which operator is used to access any of the function that is available inside? Any of the function or attribute that is available inside a class? Which operator is used? Suchitra, you're there?
Dot.
Dot operator.
Yes.
Very true. Okay. I thought you kept your phone and went somewhere or what. Fine. You understood, Suchitra?
Yes.
Everything is clear? Any doubts are there?
No.
Fine. You will be using dot operator to access. So how will you actually do it? First of all, you will have to create an object. Your step number 1 is to create an object. If you want to call any function, not function, it is called as a method. If you want to call any method that is available inside a class, your step number 1 is to create an object. Why to create an object? Because only object has the right to call that function. Create an object. After creating an object, then write object name dot the function name, and that function will be called. As simple as that. So object is also called as an instance of a class. Why it is called like that? Tomorrow we'll see also memory management. What is exactly this? How is it working? When we write a equals to 5, the mystery behind that I'll tell you. What exactly happens when you write a equals to 5? Lots of things are going on there in dynamic programming languages. So I will tell you tomorrow about that. It will be really amazing to learn. Okay, so I hope you got to learn something new today, and that's it. If you have any doubts, you can just ask, or else we'll wind up. Tomorrow exam is there, I think, of lots of people, so I'll go and study.
Yes.
Any doubts? If no, we'll wind up.
No doubts.
Fine. Thank you so much, then.
Thank you.
Yeah.